You can look at me while I'm talking.
After decades of waiting, the tables have turned. Families of the victims of the Long Island serial killer finally got the chance to face the man who took their mothers, daughters, and sisters. And when Rex Heuermann spoke, the judge didn't hold back.
You know what? You've been described as a very big man. You're a disgusting and despicable small man, if you're a man at all. And you're a coward.
From Suffolk County, New York, I'll take you inside that emotional sentencing and the chilling details behind what investigators say he planned for years. You know, before we get into this incredibly horrific case about the Gilgo Beach serial killings, I want to tell you about an app that I've been using that I really like. It's called Upside. And Upside will get you cash back on things you buy every day, like gas, groceries, and takeout. Here's what you need to do. You download Upside for free. You claim an offer at one of their 100,000 plus locations, and you pay as usual with a credit card. Then you verify the purchase, and boom, you get money back. So say I need to get gas or I want takeout one night. I'll search for Upside offers first. After I spend money, the money appears in my app, and then I can transfer that right into my bank account. Upside's frequent users earn an average of $254 back a year, which is amazing. To start getting your cash back, click the link in the description or scan the QR code that you see on your screen and use our promo code CrimeFix to get an extra 25-cent bonus on every gallon on your first tank of gas. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is a special edition of Crime Fix coming to you from Suffolk County, Long Island. We're here at the courthouse, and this is where the victims of Rex Heuermann were able to speak from the heart today. They got to address the man who stole the lives of their mothers, daughters, and sisters. They faced him after he so senselessly and brutally took their lives.
Chance that she ever had these past 26 years since you took her life to attain any of the goals that she had set for herself, and she did. She had hopes and she had dreams, and you took it all away.
Judge Timothy Mazie didn't hold back when addressing Rex Heuermann. You'll see that in just a bit. But this day was really about the 8 known victims: Sandra Castilla, Karen Vergata, Valerie Mack, Jessica Taylor, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, and Amber Costello. They were young women who had families who loved them. The women had hopes and dreams, but were targeted by a sadistic monster because of their small size and simply because they were vulnerable, working as sex workers. The murders began in 1993 with the death of Sandra Castilla. The last victim, Amber Costello, was murdered in 2010. Her body and the bodies of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Melissa Bartholomew were discovered later that year in December. Melissa's younger sister, Amanda, was just a teenager when her sister vanished.
I was 15. 15 years old. I know you don't care. I was just going into 10th grade, and I never got to finish because even when I was in school, my mind wasn't actually present. I was robbed of my youth, I was robbed of my young adulthood, and I still feel robbed to this day. There are so many years that I didn't want to be on this earth anymore.
Then there was an incredibly powerful moment when Amanda Funderburg turned to Rex Heuermann and ordered him to look at her.
You can look at me while I'm talking. It's been about 17 years since we spoke, don't forget. You tarnished the relationship between my mother and I for a while. She was afraid for me because of you. She was afraid when I left the house that I wouldn't return. And it was also hard for her to be there for me the way I needed her to be. When she herself was fighting for my sister's life, for someone to take us seriously, fighting for her own life and for her sanity. Thankfully, we were able to reconcile our relationship, something you'll probably never have with your daughter, and I hope that's something that haunts you for the rest of what I hope is a very short-lived life. I was forced to live with crippling anxiety, depression, PTSD, and a destroyed nervous system. I was filled with rage and sadness every single day. For a while, depression had got the best of me, and so I barely ate, and I cried and slept on repeat. I was afraid of people that looked at me for too long. I was mortified anytime I heard a noise if I was home alone. I had to check the back of my car every time I got in. I was weary about meeting new people or being in large crowds. My heart even skipped a beat if I got a call from a blocked number.
Huerman had called Amanda from Melissa's cell phone after murdering her and called her awful, awful names, taunting her. Now he had to listen to a woman give him an order. The daughter of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Nicolette, also spoke.
When we talk about the case, I'd like to talk about my mom. She was a warm, bubbly, funny, intelligent, and artistic person. Most of all, she had the biggest heart of anyone I've ever known. When she would pass an unhoused person on the street, she would literally give them her last dollar, or at least stop to acknowledge them and see how they were doing if she didn't have any money on her. She was a language arts girly, a poet, an avid reader. She was politically outspoken, and that carried through in her writing. She loved hip-hop and R&B music and would write raps in her poetry notebooks, saying she wanted to be a rapper. She had a strong sense of humor and the most contagious laugh. She was young at heart, but she was also just young. She lived for only another few weeks past her 25th birthday. When I myself turned 25, it wasn't the joyful milestone that most young people enjoyed. It was jarring and painful because I knew that it meant I'd now lived longer than my mom did. Today, I'm nearly 2 years older than she will ever be. Rex Huerman stole decades of life from a woman who should still be here making memories with the people who love her.
My name is Dylan, and I am the son of Maureen. When I lost her, I was just 1 year old. My earliest memories are defined by anxiety, fear, and sadness, not knowing where she had went and why I did not have her in my life. I don't remember her voice or her face or the love she gave me as a baby. I never had my mom to see me on my first days of school. I never had her when I graduated. I never had her when I needed her, and I will never have her in the future when I need her.
Maureen's sister described her as deeply insightful. She vanished in 2007.
Nothing could have prepared me for the day that Maureen didn't come home. At first, I kept telling myself that she would call at any moment, that everything would somehow be okay. But as days turned into years, that hope slowly faded into a devastating reality. After years of searching for Maureen, my world shattered. The day my sister was found in the brambles on the side of a dark, lonely highway. She was not just murdered, she was a victim of a predator, a serial killer. This was not just a murder, this was a calculated, unimaginable evil. It was a shock so profound that my mind and body could not process it. Because when Maureen was identified, it meant facing the truth that she was gone forever. And that pain is unbearable. I lived with survivor's guilt for over a decade. I replayed every moment over and over again in my mind.
Megan Waterman's aunt described how her niece came to be a sex worker.
Megan was being prostituted by Akeem Cruz, a pimp who disguised himself as her boyfriend. And because of his trafficking of my niece, the prisoner who sits in this courtroom today was able to rob her of her life and rob those who loved her of a future with her. On June 6, 2010, the prisoner not only took all of Megan's hopes and dreams, but he also shattered our family. I'm certain my niece fought as hard as she possibly could to come back to her daughter, whom she loved with every fiber of her being. When you consider the size of this man and the fact that he searched for children and smaller statured victims, it becomes quite clear he was not a fearsome predator, but rather a cowardly opportunist. The prisoners planned to erase Megan, Maureen, Melissa, Amberlynn, Jessica, Valerie, Sandra, and Karen backfired. Because of his vile and cowardly actions, our loved ones will be spoken of for years to come with love and reverence, not only by their families and friends, but by millions of people around the world who now mourn their loss.
And Megan's daughter, Liliana, spoke of the mother she never knew. She was just a toddler when Megan disappeared in June 2010.
My name is Liliana Waterman, and I'm the daughter of Megan Waterman. My mother went missing when I was just 3 years old. Her body was not found until I was 4. She was taken from me during the most important years of my life. A little girl needs her mom. I never got the chance to know what it was like to be comforted by her after a bad day, to hear her advice, or to grow up with her guidance and love. I was not fully aware of the horrific details of what had happened until I was around 9 years old. How do you tell a child that her mom was brutally murdered? I remember sitting at home in 4th grade, scrolling online when I came across an article about her. That was the moment I truly understood what had happened. I remember asking my grandparents what the word prostitute, pimp meant. In an instant, my world was shattered. My heart broke all over again. I have spent 16 mother days without my mom. I have lived thousands of days without her. I am now the same age my mom was when she was first pregnant with me, and I realized just how young she really was. I feel as though I have barely begun to understand life, yet she was denied the chance to live hers. Rex Heuermann did not just take my mother's life, he stole an entire lifetime of memories that me and her never got to make. He took away birthdays, holidays, conversations, hugs, advice, and every future moment a mother and daughter should have shared.
Valerie Mack's parents spoke about the loss of their daughter.
Mr. Heuermann, you have done horrendous things to Valerie's earthly body, but you have not touched the real Valerie. To paraphrase C.S. Lewis, there are no ordinary people. You have never talked to a mere mortal. Everyone you've joked with, worked with, married, snuffed, or even killed is born an immortal creature. Each will live forever, either in majestic glory or imaginable horror. I can only imagine when my day comes and I find myself standing before Jesus, Valerie will be at his side.
What you have done to our family is beyond what words can express. Even though justice is done, it cannot replace what you have taken from us. Or can it give our beloved Valerie back her life here on earth? I do, however, want you to understand that even though you were able to commit these horrendous atrocities against our daughter, and no matter what sense of power or control you felt over Valerie's body, you were never able to touch her soul. I'm telling you, unless you get yourself right before God, Valerie is the one who is free today, and you are not. She is living her life with her Savior, Jesus Christ, and what you have done has gained you nothing. I'd like you to understand.
And Jessica Taylor's cousins spoke about losing her in such a horrific way.
Do you want to end up like Jessica? That is a question I heard many times as a teenager. Something spoken out of the fear of knowing what a monster is truly capable of. The answer was yes, I did want to end up like Jess. She was fierce, kind, compassionate, beautiful, and intelligent. She loved every person she met better than she found them, even if they only met for a moment. She never met a stranger. She was pure sunshine. I wish all of the time that I could know her as the woman that I am today, that I could see the woman she would have become, that I would have hugged her tighter the last time that I saw her, that she could know my son, the trips us and my sister could have had, the memories we could have continued to make. Instead, I try to remember her through the memories that I'm lucky to hold on to. I pray to her and I leave flowers in memory of her in the places that she was left behind.
I'll never forget how I felt when I got that call. I couldn't wrap my mind around the word torso. No way could someone do that to someone I love. Torso. Headless and handless. These words haunt me. Our prefrontal cortex had barely finished to form. Torso? I thought that was a midriff. It's a chopped up body. No way. Disgusting. Awful. Terrifying. Monstrous. Brutal. What? Parts of her are all over the place missing? They didn't find all of her? All of her. Headless and handless. I still don't understand. That weekend, she was supposed to come home. That weekend, family and friends were looking for her. Loved ones were calling her. She wasn't going to miss that weekend. She never picked up the phone. She didn't call anyone back because of you.
The family of Amber Costello provided a statement to be read.
Before Amber Costello's death, she tricked Rex Heuermann in more ways than one. If it were not for my sister's street smarts, Task Force United to catch the serial killer could still be on the hunt. Amber's quick thinking lit the match and ignited fits of rage in the egotistical, evil narcissist, Rex Heuermann. The immoral man sitting before you today could not handle being outwitted by Amber Costello. My sister's actions led this hidden murderer to show out in fits of rage. His unbridled anger for having been fooled by Amber caused Rex Heuermann to not only hunt Amber, but also hunt my daughter and me. Although my daughter, myself, and countless others escaped Rex Heuermann's cold, calculated clutches, my sister, Amber Lynn Costello, paid the ultimate price. However, her sacrifice and soul brings victory to this courtroom because she has strength in Jesus Christ. Although the exact details of what happened to our treasured Amber after she said her last goodbye to friends as she climbed inside Rex Heuermann's avalanche, I know her blind faith in Jesus Christ